Good afternoon, and I welcome you, students. What we have been discussing with you, we have last time discussed with you the Newton's first law of motion. We will be discussing further more important things today. Before that, some simple exercises to relax our body, relieve the stress, sit comfortably on the chair, sit comfortably in the chair, and Bastrika. We have two hands. We are putting it like this. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. How many times? 10 times. Okay, start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Release the tension, release the stiffness from different parts of the body. These are my hands with which I write. Close and open full 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now neck, there is some neck muscles. Relax them. Some stiffness at different parts of the neck. Right hand. Stretch the neck towards the right side. Feel the stretch, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left hand, stretch it to the left side, neck, stretch the neck to the left side, hold, feel the stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back, right, left. Rotate the neck to the right. Inhale, exhale. 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation to the neck. 3 times clockwise, 3 times anti. Half inhale, half exhale. Okay, start. 1, 2, 3. Anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3. Come back. Experience the stiffness of the neck is being removed. Neck muscles, we have to stretch them. Okay. Shoulders, I'm using a lot in my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, come back. You have 2 feet. Ankles of the feet, give them clockwise rotation 5 times, anti-clockwise rotation 5 times. Start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, come back. Few minutes of breathing techniques helps a lot in releasing the stress from inside the body. Inhale deeply. You get a lot of oxygen. Exhale. You remove the toxins, carbon dioxide, other negative energies from the body. Sit comfortably on the chair. The feet should be touching the ground. And put a pillow behind your back so that the spinal cord is erect. And we will inhale from the nostril. And what we can do, exhale from the nostril and experience body posture, breathing and meditation. All right, sit comfortably, close your eyes, the 2 hands comfortably placed on your laps or on the table. Focus on the breathing. Inhale from the 2 nostrils, exhale from the 2 nostrils. Start. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Focus your attention on the 2 nostrils from where the air is entering inside your body. Now you take your attention to your body posture, students. You are sitting on the chair. Feel the touching of the chair and the parts of your body. Take your attention where you are touching the chair. Now experience and consider your back. Your back is touching the chair. Your back of the body is touching the pillow or the chair. Take your attention to that side. Keep breathing. Take your attention to your two hands, which are comfortably placed. Keep breathing. Keep breathing in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Take your attention to the legs. Take your attention to the 2 feet which are touching the ground. Experience the surfaces at which your feet are touching the ground. Keep breathing. Take your attention to your head. Take your attention to the head. You have 2 parts of the brain, left and right part of the brain. Take your attention, the chest. When you inhale, your chest expands. When you exhale, the chest falls down. Keep inhaling and exhaling. Now take your attention to your belly. When you inhale, your belly expands. And when you exhale, your belly contracts. Keep inhaling and exhaling. Slowly and slowly come back. Experience any sound reaching your ear, the sound of the fan, sound coming to your room from outside, the traffic sound or anything else. Slowly, slowly come back and normal breathing. Fold your 2 hands, rub your 2 hands, rub your 2 hands, and experience the heat energy is produced. Gentle massage your eyes, your face, your neck, ears, and come back. Attitude of gratitude. We are thankful to the God, we are thankful to the universe for the gift of life, and we are doing our best. And slowly you can open your eyes with smiles. 1, 2, 3. Okay, come back, students, come back. So you are back, students. We have relieved and removed the stresses from the body and released the negative thoughts. And now we are setting up an intention that we will focus on the lesson which we are studying. And our target today is Newton's second law of motion. Last time we studied the Newton's first law of motion. Did we study?
Yes, sir.
So our target today will be the Newton's second law of motion, and we will try to do it. Set up an intention that I will focus on the lesson, concentrate, focus, pay attention. That is our objective. Okay. All right, we are back to the work, students. Last time, students, we have told you Newton's first law of motion. Can you tell me what is the first law of Newton's first law of motion?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, when the object is at rest or moving with a uniform velocity in a straight line, then the object stays at rest or keeps moving with the uniform velocity in the straight line.
Or in other words, the first law said that when unbalanced force acts on an object, the velocity of the object will change, right? Okay?
Yes,
What we
sir.
are saying, when we studied, student, the first law, its language is clear. When you will apply unbalanced external force, unbalanced external force. ठीक है? On an object, what will happen? On an object, its velocity will change. Its velocity changes. ठीक है? The velocity will change. Velocity changes. So if a velocity will change, what will happen? The object will get an acceleration. The object gets an acceleration. What is acceleration, student? Rate of change of velocity. How the acceleration of object depends on the force applied to it and how we can measure it. Now that is a question. So what we are saying, force is applied on an object. The object moves, changes its position of state of rest or motion, and the velocity changes. Acceleration is produced. Acceleration is produced in the object. So the question is how the acceleration depends on the force applied. How the acceleration depends on force applied. On force applied. But let us see something in our everyday life. You experience that. For example, people are playing table tennis. ठीक है? Two of you are playing table tennis, and the shot comes. The table tennis ball hits you. The table tennis ball hits you, student. ठीक है? Are you hurt?
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me. How you are hurt? A table tennis ball. I am using a table tennis ball. Table tennis ball you have seen.
Yes, sir.
It is very small and very light in weight. Nothing will happen. You are not hurt. A force has been applied. It has applied a force on you when it hit it, but the player is not hurt. But if I have a cricket ball, ठीक है? What will happen? If I have a cricket ball and if it hits a player, you know what happens? Then what happens? If I have a cricket ball, students, if I have a cricket, what is happening? If I have a cricket ball, students, what will happen? If I have a cricket ball, so what will happen, student? If I have a cricket ball,
Sir, it will hurt.
cricket ball will hurt. Okay. So what is the reason that what is the impact of the two is different? What we are trying to show you, student, the impact of the two are different. So the cricket ball is having a bigger impact. ठीक है? A fast moving cricket ball hits you, it will hurt. ठीक है? Fast moving cricket ball hurts. But on the other hand, table tennis, fast moving table tennis ball does not hurt. Does not hurt. So this situations we are studying in everyday life. If you have a bicycle, you can easily apply a force, it starts moving. But a truck, if you try to push it, nothing happens to it. So a truck at rest does not require any tension when parked along a roadside, but a moving truck, even at a speed of, even at a very low speed, what can happen? 5 meters per second. If a truck is moving at a very low speed, 5 meters per second, if someone comes in front of it, what will happen? The man will be hurt badly. A bullet has a small mass. When you fire a bullet, what happens? If it hits you, you know, it will, you have heard shot dead. People are dying. Bullet is very small. But what is that inside the bullet which is exerting such a tremendous impact? Velocity of the bullet is very high, mass is small. And here in a truck, velocity I said only 5 meter per second, and the mass of the truck is very large. It will hurt the person in front of it badly. So what we are saying, there are two important things which we are studying here. What are those things? So if an object is to be accelerated, the greater force is required to give greater velocity. So
what you want, if you want to accelerate any object, you will need greater force to do that. But on what factors it depends. There are two things which are coming. One is the mass and other is the velocity of the object. You can see that two factors are coming before us in everyday life. So as I said, a bullet has a small mass, but it has very high velocity. When it hits a person with very high velocity, what will happen? The person will die. Similarly, a truck has a very large mass. If it moves with very slow speed, anyone coming in front of it will be hurt badly. Therefore, students, what we are trying to say, the the impact produced by the objects, the impact produced by the object depends on their mass and velocity. What I'm saying, the impact produced by the object depends on two things. One is mass, other is velocity. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
That was the reason Newton gave a concept of momentum. What Newton said, there is a quantity which he said momentum. Momentum, what is momentum, student? Momentum is product of mass into velocity. He said if P is a momentum, it is a product of mass into velocity. M is the mass of the object and V is the velocity of the object. So he defined a quantity which is called momentum. Momentum is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity, means it has mass is mass of an object is constant. Velocity, this is a vector quantity, therefore momentum is a vector quantity. So it has both magnitude and direction. Newton's second law of motion states that the time rate of change of momentum is equal to the force acting on the particle. From here, we will lead to Newton's second law of motion. What he's saying, time rate of change of momentum. Time rate of change of momentum is equal to the force acting on the particle. What do you mean by that? We will explain to you just now. So we can say, student, first we should know what is momentum. Note it down. It is a vector quantity. It has both magnitude and direction. Momentum has a direction. It can be used to predict the resulting direction and speed of motion of objects after they collide. Important thing, when things will collide, what will happen? One object collides with another. A ball collides me. That ball had a momentum. And what is the result of that? It will change, predict the resulting direction and speed of the motion of objects after they collide. We'll study about this, the laws of momentum also. We'll see what do we mean by this. There will be also studying the law of conservation of momentum. So the important thing we define today is momentum. Note down what is the need of momentum. Different objects will produce different impact. That depends on its mass and velocity, students. However, momentum just does not depend on objects' mass and speed. It does not just depend on mass and speed, because velocity is a speed in a particular direction. The momentum of object also depends on the direction of the travel. What we are saying? There is a difference between speed and velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity. It also depends on the direction of the travel. This means that momentum of an object can change if the object speeds up or slows down, or if it changes its direction. If the object changes its direction, what will happen? Then again, momentum can change. The momentum of an object is defined as product of mass into velocity. Here is the formula which we have given. Note it down. Momentum has both direction and magnitude. Its direction is the same as that of the velocity. Then what will be the SI unit of momentum? What will be the SI unit of momentum, students? P is equal to M into V. What are the SI units of mass? Kilogram. What is this? Meter per second. So the SI unit of momentum will be kilogram meter per second. Since application of unbalanced force brings a change in velocity of the object, it is clear force also produces a change of momentum. If I apply a force, what happens, students? If I apply a force, what it happens? Velocity changes. You are saying velocity changes. That means momentum also changes. Okay? What happens? Momentum changes. Is it clear? Momentum depends on mass into velocity. So velocity will change, momentum will also change. Right?
Yes,
So
sir.
when I apply a force, velocity changes and momentum also changes. And momentum also changes. Velocity changes and momentum also changes. All right, note down everything. Note down everything. So what is the second law of motion, which is also called rate of change of momentum? Rate of change of momentum. It is not saying change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is different from change of momentum. You have seen word rate. One is change of momentum. I am saying rate of change of momentum. Why? The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied on it, and this change in momentum takes place in the direction of the applied force. This is the statement of the Newton's second law of motion. Students, let me give an example what we are saying. If there is a car, the battery is dead. Okay? You have a car with a dead battery. Sometimes you have seen they will say push karo isko, push it so that the car can start. Now you push it, doesn't, but then they say push it through a longer distance. You see that they push it on the road for a longer distance, students. Then what happens? So if it is pushed along a straight road to give a speed of 1, which is sufficient to start an engine, when two person give a sudden push, it hardly starts. But a continuous push over some time, what happens? A gradual acceleration of car to this speed, the change of momentum, then the car starts. Tell me, is it right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
This is your car, students. Okay. What is happened? That you battery is dead. You are pushing nothing. But if you push and for a longer distance, what happens? Sudden. This is a sudden push. But you increase the time for which the force is applied. This is you are applying unbalanced force here. What you are applying? Unbalanced force, student. Here the time is short. If I increase the time of the applied force, what happens to the car, students? Then you know that your car will start. Okay? This is a car, student, with dead battery. What is happening? Then it starts. So the change of momentum is not only determined by change in momentum. Change in momentum is not only determined by magnitude of force. It is determined by what factors? You are saying one magnitude of force. How much force you are applying? And also time during which the force is applied. Time during which the force is applied. So time is coming now into picture. The greater the time for which force is applied, then what happens? That is what we are saying, rate of change of momentum. Okay? So the rate of change of momentum. The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force applied. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to force applied. So force applied directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. I'm not saying momentum, I'm saying rate of change of momentum. Rate means time factor is involved. Momentum by time. For how much duration you apply the force. ठीक है? Okay. Certain examples you are experiencing. Here is a fielder student. He pulls his hand gradually with moving ball while holding a catch. You have seen in the game of cricket. ठीक है? A ball is coming at very high speed. You have seen players like this. Why do I do like these students? If I put the hand directly on the ball, what will happen? The player will be hurt. He is increasing the time. He is increasing the time. So that what is the result? He is increasing the time, student, by this method. Then he will be able to catch it without hurt. What is he doing, student? What is he doing? So he pulls his hand backwards with the moving ball. The fielder increases the time during which the high velocity of the moving ball decreases to 0. What the fielder is doing? Fielder increases the time. He is increases the time, student. Increases the time during which high velocity of the ball becomes 0. See, ball is coming with very high velocity. When it will stop, it will be 0. 0 velocity. If you suddenly stop it, you will, in a very short period of time, it will hurt you. If you increase the time, the velocity, high velocity to 0. So what is the result? Then he is able to catch it. He is able to catch a student. So acceleration of the ball is decreased and impact of the fast moving. What is the result of this? Thus acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Acceleration of ball. What is acceleration? Rate of change of velocity is acceleration of the ball is decreased. Acceleration of the ball is decreased and impact of catching the first ball is reduced. Impact of catching first ball is reduced. Is it right?
Yes.
So students, this is an example of what we are saying. The time is also important. This is a question in the paper was given on this based on the second law, Newton's second law of motion. The second law of motion is often seen in action in everyday life. While catching a fast moving cricket ball, a fielder in the ground gradually pulls his hands backward with moving ball. So the fielder increases the time during which the high velocity of the moving ball decreases to 0. Thus the acceleration of the ball is decreased and the impact of catching the fast moving ball is also reduced. Important. The question has been asked. That is this is the answer of that question. Why a player pulls his hand backward while catching the ball? That is the question. Why a player pulls his hands backwards while catching a ball. So you can see, if the ball is stopped suddenly, then its high velocity decreases in a short interval of time. Thus the rate of change of momentum will be large. Rate of change of momentum. What we are talking of? Rate of change of momentum. Here the rate of change of momentum becomes less. Rate of change of momentum becomes small. And here rate of change of momentum becomes large. And if the rate of change of momentum becomes large, what will happen, student? It will exert a high force. Okay? So a large force would be applied for holding the catch. You will have to apply a large force to hold the catch and can hit the palm of the fielder. First thing. In high jump athletic event, you have seen high jump of the athletes. When they jump and fall on the ground, do they fall on a flat surface or there is some cushion bed or some sand bed where they fall? What do you see?
So there's a cushioned bag
Cushion,
or
matlab something very soft that this is to increase the time of the athlete is to fall to stop after making the jump. So if he falls immediately and the time period is less between the ground and his fall, when his velocity will become zero, what will happen? The rate of change of momentum will be very large and it will be hard. And if he increase the time for which he's jumping with a particular velocity, when it reduces to zero, what is the result? The rate of change of momentum will be small and therefore he will not be hurt. Karate player breaks a slab of ice with a single blow. How he breaks a piece of ice with a single blow? He reduces the time. You have seen hit a flash. He reduces the time of the applied force and the result is that very large force is applied and it breaks. All these are examples where we are saying the rate of change of momentum or the force, okay? The force which is applied is equal to rate of change of momentum. So force also produces change of momentum, but here we are saying that rate of change of momentum is proportional to applied or unbalanced force in the direction of the force. What is important? That's what the conclusion is saying, that rate of change of momentum is proportional to applied unbalanced force and in the direction of the force. These are some of the questions which have been put up before the student. Note down everything, student, important. Note down. Let us see a mathematical formulation of second law of motion. Is important, student, in solving numericals and many problems. Supposing you have an object, okay? Mass m. Mass of the object is m. It is moving along a straight line with initial velocity. What is the initial velocity, students, of the object u? This is an object, it is moving like this. Okay? Initial velocity u. It is uniformly accelerated to a velocity v. What is happening? Accelerated. How will you accelerate? By applying some unbalanced force. Okay? When unbalanced force will act, what will happen? It will be accelerated. What will happen? Then velocity will change. So let us see what is the final velocity here. V. Velocity changes from u to v. What is the time for which the force F what you have to apply some force for this. Let F be the force which is applied. F is the force applied. Force applied is F. How much time? You have seen the time is important factor. So the longer the time, you have seen force into time is the change in momentum. So if time for which the force is applied, time of application of force is T. I am saying these are all SI units, student. What units I am using? SI units. You know what is SI unit of mass? Kg. Initial velocity meter per second. Time second. Force Newton. Okay. So initial velocity U, final velocity V, force is applied, and F. ठीक है, application of constant force is considered to be constant throughout the time t. Then what is the initial momentum, student? What will be the initial momentum? M is the mass into U. ठीक है, initial momentum. And what is the final momentum? Velocity has changed from U to V, M into V. ठीक है, this I am calling as P1. This I am calling as P2. ठीक है. What is the change in momentum? Change in momentum will be what, student? P2 minus P1. What will be that? MV minus MU. Right?
Yes.
What is the rate of change of momentum? How do you calculate rate? Divide by time. MV minus MU by T. Note down. So this is our rate of change of momentum. And what we are saying, the force applied is directly proportional to what? The force applied is, student, directly proportional to what? Force applied is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we can say that F is proportional to, here M can be taken as common, MV minus U by T. M, and what is this? V minus U by T, students. What is V minus U by T?
Acceleration.
Okay, acceleration. So this is proportional to M into A, V minus U T, F proportional to M into A. Or I can say that F is equal to some constant K M into A. F is equal to some constant into M into A. So the applied force can be written mathematically as F is proportional to M into V minus U by T, or M into A. F is equal to K into M by A. Now the units of the force we are choosing such that here I have shown again all this. If you have to do it, because they will ask you in the paper, derive the mathematical formula for the Newton's second law of motion. So we should learn how to derive the formula. Okay? Can you see that same thing here? Object of mass M moving with in a straight line, initial velocity U, final velocity V, time application T, F is a force, then change in momentum P2 minus P1, MV, and rate of change of momentum F is equal to proportional to M. On applied force, we can write F is equal to KMA. That is the formula which I have derived, student. Now, what is important? If I take 1 unit force, F1 unit, then what will happen? The mass will become 1 kg and acceleration will be 1 meter per second. In other words, students, what I'm trying to say, you are getting a formula F is equal to Km into A. If I consider a force of 1 unit, supposing if 1 unit force is applied, 1 unit force, student, then what is it equal to when M will be equal to 1 kg? Acceleration will be equal to 1 meter per second square, 1 meter per second square. Okay? Then this is 1 k into 1 kg into 1, what is this, meter second square, then implies k value comes equal to 1 then. So then k is equal to 1. If k is equal to 1, then what is my formula, students? F is equal to mass into acceleration. So this is an important formula, student. So we are deriving a formula from the Newton's second law of motion. Force will be equal to applied force, or unbalanced force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Rate of change of velocity. Note down this important formula, students. Mathematical, because there will be questions based on this formula, student. Questions will be there on this formula. So what you are getting, what are the SI units? SI units of force. What is the unit of mass? Kilogram meter per second inverse. That is called a Newton. What do we call this? N. N is a Newton. Okay. To honor the Newton, the name has been given Newton. Kilogram meter per second square. Kilogram meter per second square, students. Okay. The unit of force is kilogram meter per second, which has been the symbol N. This question has been asked, what is the SI unit of force? Newton, kilogram meter second inverse. Very good. Note down. Can we derive the first law of motion mathematically from the mathematical expression of second law of question? Derive the first law of motion from second law of motion. Okay? Newton's second law of motion, students. How will we do it? How will we do it? You have 1 minute to think before I solve this. This question has been put up in the exam, student. That second law of motion can itself derive the Newton's first law of motion. What is the mathematical form of second law of motion? Mathematical formula of second law of motion.
F is equal to ma.
Okay, put F is equal to ma. And what is A, student? V minus u by t. Okay? Rate of change of velocity. Put that F is equal to mv minus u by t, or F into t is equal to mv minus mu. What the Newton's first law says, if no force is applied, then the body will continue to be in state of the original state of rest or motion. That is what it says. So if F is 0, student, what will happen? No force is applied. No force applied. Then what it will become? This will become 0, or mv is equal to mu. What it means, student? V is equal to u. What it means? The final and initial velocities are same. Okay? And if v is 0,
Yes,
u is also 0. If u is 0, v is also 0. The body is at rest, u is what it means. Initial velocity 0, final velocity also 0. If body is moving with a constant velocity, then v is also of the same velocity. So the object will maintain its state of rest or whatever uniform velocity motion if no force is applied. What is that? This is the Newton's first law. This is what we call as Newton's first law, students. Newton's first law of motion can be derived from Newton's second law of motion. Important question. They asked this question in the paper. Here we have shown it. First law of motion can be mathematically stated. F is equal to ma f mv minus u ft. When f is 0, v is equal to u for whatever time is taken for t. This means object will continue to be moving with uniform velocity u throughout the time t. If u is a uniform velocity, it will continue to be the same. And if it is at rest, then u becomes 0, and then v is also 0. So this derives the Newton's first law from the second law. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Note down. These derivations can be asked in the paper. Note down, students. Now we come with a question, student. Question. Top question number 1 is on the screen, which he says, what he says, a constant force acts on an object. Constant force acts on an object of mass 5 kg for a duration of 2 seconds. It increases the object's velocity from 3 meter per second to 7 meter per second. Find the magnitude of applied force. Now, if the force was applied for a duration of 5 seconds, what would be the final velocity of the object? You can see now the velocity of the object also depends on the duration for which the force is applied. Duration for which the force is applied. You have 2 minutes to answer the question. After that, I will take over. How will we answer, student? Answer. Constant force acts on an object. What is the mass of the object, student? M. 5 kg. What is the time duration of the force? T. How much? 2 seconds. It increases its velocity. What is the initial velocity, students? How much is the initial velocity? 3 meter per second. What is the final velocity? 7 meter per second. Okay? Now, if the force was first find the magnitude of the applied force. Find the force. Okay? Applied force. F, you have to find out. What is the formula for the applied force? F is equal to, what is the formula? M into A, M
Into v minus u by t.
T. What is M? 5
Mass.
kg into, what is the velocity? 7 minus, what is the final velocity? 7, 3 meter per second. And what is the time? What is the time? How much time is there? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. But you will get 7 minus 3 is 4 by 2
10 Newton.
kilogram meter S minus 2. What is it? 10 Newton. So the force is 10 Newton. How much force has been applied? 10 Newton. What is the second question? First part. Second, if the force was applied for a duration of 5 seconds. Now the force is how much, students? Second part. This is my first part. Second part of the question. What he says, if the force was applied for a duration of 5 seconds, time is changing. 5 seconds. How much force is there? 10 Newton. What would be the final velocity of the object? Again, you have 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question. You have to find the final velocity now. What is the formula? F is equal to mv minus mu by t, mv by t minus mu by t, or F into t. F into t is equal to mv minus mu. What will be the result of that? You can write F into t by m is equal to v minus u, and you have to calculate v is equal to F into t by m plus u. Put the values. Force 10 kilogram meter per second inverse. Time how much? Now time is changed to 5 seconds. Mass, you have mass 5 kg. Kilogram, 1 second. And what is the initial velocity? 3. Initial velocity is how much? 3 meter per second. What is the answer coming?
13 meter per second.
Okay, 10 plus 3, 13 meter per second. You can see, if I have increased the time period, student, what you have done? You have increased the time period. Okay? Duration, increase the time period from earlier it was how much? 2 seconds to 5
5
seconds. Then final velocity has changed. How much? Initial, for earlier the final velocity was 7. Now the final velocity is coming to be
13 meter per second.
So the final velocity v increased from 7 meter per second to 13 meter per second. That's the reason that what we are saying, the acceleration produced in the body depends on the time period. So if you apply for a longer time, a force F into t, then the change in momentum is more. That is why the car started when you started pushing it over a longer distance. In sudden push, the car didn't start. But when you apply longer, it starts. So, all right, this ends up our today's what we set up the intention, we set up for the second law, Newton's momentum. It is done and questions solved. We will see you in the next class with more further about this chapter on force and the laws of motion. So we will see you in the next class. Keep on subscribing this channel, and you push a bell button. You will get, as soon as these are uploaded in the YouTube, you will get a notification. And please share these videos with your friends so that they can learn more about science. And this is important because in the higher classes, everything will be used. The more we study, the better we are. All right, then I see you in the next class.
Thank you, sir.